Right. Today we're going to be talking about where is it? I was going to be talking about Tottenham. I'm going to be talking about Tottenham and here it is. Antonio Conte's Spurs contract and why the sudden change of signals. What they're saying, I'll go into some comments that fans have said in a minute, but what they're saying is, let me get that in the backdrop. That's my backdrop. What they're saying is that Conte might not sign a new contract with Tottenham. Reason being, he wants assurances from Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman, that he will be backed in the winter transfer window and also the summer windows and beyond, because Tottenham want to get him on like a 5-year contract. And Antonio Conte wants assurances he's going to be backed, because if he's not backed, he will walk out the door. Here's a few comments from Tottenham fans. Richard Walters says, until Mauricio Pochettino finds another club, he will sit in the background, poisoning the thoughts of the board at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Throw in the board wanting to sign him a long-term deal before spending even more money on players, and Antonio Conte not wanting to sign until fully backed. You end up with a catch-22 position. Does the board want, Richard Waters is basically saying, do the board offer, cut their losses with Antonio Conte and say to Mauricio Pochettino, okay, I sacked you nearly 3 years ago, back in 2019 even. Do you want to come back and finish off what you started at Tottenham? People seem to think Mauricio Pochettino would walk back in the gig, but I honestly believe he might turn it down and say, no, you sacked me once. You could basically sack me again. Why do I want to come back for you? But the obvious question is, Mauricio Pochettino's out of work, so the answer would probably be yes, when can I start? But that means Conte would have to go, or he would have walked by then, because he hadn't got the assurances from Daniel Levy and the rest of the board that Tottenham want to progress. Now we're out of the Carabao Cup. We went out that shamefully to Nottingham Forest 3-0, losing before Christmas at the City Ground. Still can't believe we've had some shocking results in the Carabao Cup in recent years. Most recently, a few years back, 2 years ago, we went out to Colchester United on penalties, which was embarrassing. And the whole of Colchester turned up for that game. I don't think they've ever had an attendance at Colchester Community Stadium since that, a full house since. Even for their playoff semi-final. Oh no, that was in COVID time, so they couldn't get anyone in the ground then. But that would have been the only time they would have come close to getting a full house. But yeah, and that was embarrassing to lose Colchester United the way we did. We had all the game, all the possession, all the stats worked in Tottenham's favour. I think we hit the woodwork 3 times in that game. I think we had a couple of chances cleared off the line. We should have battered Colchester, and then we go out on penalties. That was typical Tottenham, so Spursy, you might say. I'm trying to get the comments from earlier, but I seem to have lost it. This was my post, and Richard Waters commented on it on Hampshire's Spurs group. I'm trying to find... it's here somewhere. It must be still here. I'm trying to look for it. I think this is it. We've got some more news. Tottenham Hotspur news suggested to me 19 hours ago. Maurizio Pochettino still has his heart set on a return to Tottenham Football Club, believing he has unfinished business in North London. The Argentine still has plenty of admirers within the club, reported by 90 Minutes. Now that suggests Maurizio Pochettino wants back in. He wants back in at Spurs, and hang on, I'll charge the phone up because I want to get more stuff on it. So if we go into the reports, we've got 65 comments here. I'm going to read them out. One from Denise. Pochettino is definitely needed back at Tottenham. The best manager around, in my opinion. Denise, I would be inclined to disagree there. He's not won anything in the English league. He had numerous opportunities to win stuff with Tottenham, didn't. Messed up the Champions League final when he should have played Harry Kane. He didn't. He played Lucas Moura, and we all know the outcome of that. So, yes, he's won things in the French league, but it's a bit of a farmers league. Paul Raymond replies, Denise, what are you smoking? 4 more comments. Daniel Blake, Paul Raymond. He is our only manager to get us to a Champions League final. He's talking about Maurizio Pochettino. In recent history, no other manager has done that. And all the other finals, we didn't win. But where he was at the club, but when he was at the club for about 5 to 6 years, he built a team that was consistent, including the best centre-back duo in Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen. I agree with that. We've never replaced Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen. Denise, you said Pochettino was the best manager around. I thought you may be intoxicated or something. Drinking too much, yeah? This was done 15 hours ago, so she might have been on the old sauce. You know, a bit of wine or whatever. Alan Young to Paul Raymond. It's his opinion. A man can have his opinion. Let's go. They're having a bit of banter. Let's go to other people here. We'll go to top fan Bal Lukavska. Antonio Conte should not be replaced. He is the best coach. Let him be in Tottenham forever. Well, you've never got a manager forever. That's unrealistic to have him in Tottenham forever. It's not possible. For as long as he stays, will be great. If he could win something at Tottenham, fantastic. If he can't, at some point, Antonio Conte leaves. Yeah, we just had him. He's done again. We'll go past him. Anthony says, yeah, for sure, would love to have Pochettino back. Doesn't really go into detail on that. So we've discussed Pochettino coming back. He didn't win anything the first time round. Could he do it again? I will say you never go back second time round. Listen, I'll put it in layman's terms. You know when you split up with a girlfriend, partner, etc., whatever you want to take your take on it. They're an ex, you split up with them for a reason. They're an ex for a reason. You don't go back to your ex. They're an ex for a reason. We move on. I think Pochettino, it's not going to work. He's like an ex. There was problems the first time round. There'll be problems the second time round. You don't go back. Where we go next? I'm going to pick out the best comments here. Adam Hill says, by the summer, he will be back. Maurizio Pochettino, another one who thinks he's coming back. Antonio Conte will not sign a new deal. What are you hearing, Adam? I mean, does Adam know something we don't? More rumours, probably reading stuff from The Athletic and Matt Law at a certain paper that we can't mention for legal reasons. Daniel Black. I think if Antonio Conte left or he got the sack, he'd be and should be our number one target, Pochettino again. But if he was to come back in the near future, Daniel Levy needs to give Pochettino the money to spend to bring in the top players in. Well, that's standard. We've just discussed that, so I'm not going to keep going on that. Stevie says, no, how many times do we have to see this nightmare vision? He took the club and the team as far as he could. If we're going to progress and win things, we need Antonio Conte to stay and to strengthen the team by bringing in more top players. For all he did, Maurizio Pochettino would be a bad move to come back to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. You know, Darren Keane says all the money and top class players he had at PSG and he couldn't get it done. Well, Darren Keane, he did get some things done at PSG, mate. He got the French version of the English FA Cup. He won their French championship. Basically, he got sacked from PSG, Maurizio Pochettino, because he couldn't win what they all crave at PSG, and that's the Champions League. He couldn't win it, he got sacked. They even sacked Thomas Tuchel, because Thomas Tuchel lost in the Champions League final, and they sacked him the previous year. At PSG, it's all about winning the Champions League. If a manager wins the Champions League for PSG, he'll have the Holy Grail at PSG, I do believe. So, Darren Keane won things at PSG. You need to do your research on PSG before saying things like that. John Murray says if he comes back, Maurizio Pochettino, he will recall Harry Winks straight away from his loan at, is it Sampdoria? I really hope not. I was hearing he's coming back anyway because Sampdoria don't want him. Apparently he's been injured for half his loan anyway. That is just typical of Harry Winks. I think Harry Winks is done as a footballer now. I think if he came back with Tottenham Hotspur way, I think we'd just loan him straight back out. And I'm looking at my internet now. There's nothing on Maurizio Pochettino coming back. It was a massive rumour started by the Athletic yesterday. There is one new comment coming through. We're going to wrap the comments up in a minute because they're all saying the same thing. And there's no truth to the substance of this story wrote by and reported by Matt Law from the Athletic. There's no substance to his story. He was obviously bored. It's Christmas. There's been no football. There's no football until Boxing Day. Competitive football. At the moment, we're just playing friendlies in Carabao Cup. The only competitive football going on is the Carabao Cup. And in between that, we've got pre-season or mid-season friendlies, if you'd like. So this story's got no substance to it. He's obviously bored, sitting in his office, laptop at home even. Made a story up, clicked it out of the air and gone with it, and everyone's jumped all over it. Where was this last comment? We'll get to the last comments. We'll start with Richie Tansley. Antonio Conte is just hanging around, waiting for a club he can easily win something with, and where money is no object. Not signed a contract yet. He can do one for me and take his negative star with him. Awful football to watch over Tottenham Hotspur lately. I know, well, this is the thing. When I've been at Tottenham a few times this season, when I can get to the games, I haven't heard the fans in the terraces, stands, as we call it now, chanting, Conte, this is crap football, boring, negative football. I haven't heard it. I only hear these comments on social media, i.e. Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. I don't hear it in the stands. So it's a noise from social media. Richard, just more noise from social media. It's not coming from the stadium, guys. Richard McIntosh. Back to regular programming, I see. What's he talking about? Back to, I think he's talking about Banner FC. Back to more Banner FC, basically. More rumours, plucking a rumour out here, and everyone goes into serious meltdown. I believe that's what he's saying. James Dewey Mojo. Come back home, Maurizio Pochettino. We've just gone over that. I'm not going to keep going over the same topic. Richard Barton Harvey. Time we had owners that will actually meet the club's potential. Richard seems like he's had enough of Daniel Levy and the regime that own Tottenham Football Club, the company that is Inc. That is a topic for another day. Yeah, I think people are bored of Innings' philosophy. But this is the thing. Inc. have spent money in the last few years. Last summer, we spent a lot of money. We made the permanent signing of Christian Romero from Atalanta, the Italian club. That was a good deal. We signed Rodrigo Bentancur on a permanent contract of a 5-year deal from Juventus, who's become a top player for Tottenham in the midfield, a playmaker, if you will. In recent years, like summer before, we got Pierre-Emile Højbjerg from Southampton. We're soon to make Dejan Kulusevski a permanent signing from Juventus, who's been on loan, but he's viewed it's going to happen. He will be a permanent signing. We signed for Charleston last season from Everton, a permanent forward, a number 9 forward. He will be a backup to Harry Kane. You know, we've still got Heung-min Son. Yeah, he's gone off the form. But, you know, if he hits an hat-trick against Brentford on Boxing Day and then smashes one in against Aston Villa on New Year's Day, everyone will go, Son's back. We had Heung-min Son's back. You know, we have got all this Levy doesn't back his managers. It's absolute crap. He has backed. He did back Pochettino. He did back Martin Yeo all those years ago. He did back Harry Redknapp all those years ago. He did, to a certain extent, back Jose Mourinho as well. Didn't work out, but he backed him. He has and he will back Antonio Conte. All this noise from social media is pathetic. And before people say, oh, another Daniel Levy happy clapper. No, I used to be a Daniel Levy hour, but now I'm like, well, the club, he could put the club up tonight, today, this morning, this afternoon, last night or tonight. He could put the club up for sale. There ain't going to be an Arab that you can pluck out of thin air. Like Newcastle got lucky. City got lucky. You know, Chelsea weren't bought by the Arabs, Sharik. They were bought by Tom Boyle, or Bowley, or whatever he's called. American billionaire. But he's no Arab that's going to spend fortunes. Newcastle are expecting to spend fortunes in summer. I don't think they're going to do it. There is a Premier League fair play system in place now. You can't throw millions of pounds like City did back in the day. The Premier League has stopped all that. It's got to be fair play now. You know, and if Tottenham fans believe that's going to happen, no. Before the new and if the new owners did come in and buy Tottenham, they've got to go through the old Premier League regulations, like Tom Boyle had to do at Chelsea, the Arabs had to do at Newcastle. You've got, and we know what trouble Newcastle had getting that deal over the line. You've got to have the credentials set out from the Premier League. If the Premier League don't like it, they think, oh no, these owners are just going to throw everything at it to make that club successful. They're not going to do fair play. They're going to say, no deal, you can't come and buy this club. So it's got to be, you know, and Daniel Levy is backing him. He's already said if you look on the internet, Tottenham have got money to spend. Spurs media have reported, Spurs official have reported, Spurs will have money to bring in a couple of players in the January window. And that will all it will be, is a couple of players. Any fans out there expecting 5 players come in, a war chest in the January window, you're talking crap, guys. No club goes out and spends fortunes in the winter window. It's never happened. It never will. Listen, people only go and buy a player when you've got injuries. You know, you go out and buy players when you've got injuries in the winter window, or you want to establish yourself to make yourself win something in the second half of the season or finish higher in the league. The summer is when you do your business. But everything, all this, I keep hearing there's a war chest. There's a war chest. Where was the war chest? We were supposed to have a war chest. There was never a war chest. There was always money available. Like every club, there's always money available for the manager or the head coach, i.e., like they call him nowadays, to do his job. This war chest, oh yeah, the club's going to throw some money. We're going to buy a whole new team. Well, what do you do with the existing squad? You know, you can't sell every player in one window. In every 18 months, it's basically a new team anyway. Players move on pretty much every 18 months. 18 months to 24 months. So that's all crap. Fans talk crap sometimes. It's like if you were running a football club, you know, you'd think, well, I can't afford him. I've got to let that player go. If I want to bring that player X, Y, and Z in, I've got to take 2 players out to replace them. And then I've got to bring them in. There's no certainty I'm going to get those couple of players I want for the manager. You know, it's not FM manager. It's not football manager. You don't just tap a button, put your bid in, 30 seconds later, the players agree to sign for you. It's not FM manager. You know, I just think fans need to take a reality check. Instead of typing away on Twitter, blah, 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 and Facebook and Instagram, keyboard warriors style, Levy's get out of my club, let's start a protest. No, think about what you're doing. Because Levy listens to all this, I truly believe. Obviously he does. His PA listens to it. He looks at it all, or she does. And it gets back to Daniel Levy and the senior directors in the boardroom, and I bet they chuckle to themselves. I bet they sit around their boardroom table, go, before we start, let's listen to the fans. They're out of touch. They're unrealistic. They don't know what they're talking about. Think about it before you type your stuff next time. Think about what I just said. Let that sink in. I'll leave it there. Go back to we'll leave that there because the fans are just talking like what I've just said. That's how they're talking. They're going on the old computer, tapping away, keyboard warrior style. Just thinking the club have got pot loads of money in the back of the room there, back there. You know, we'll just open another box of money. There's 20 trillion money stacked there. There's about 3,000 boxes of money in the back. We'll just open it up. No, you can't. It's not like that. It's not. Let that sink in. What I've just said in the last 2 minutes, let that sink in. I think we'll leave it there. And as always, if you like my content, love and subscribe, share it, like, subscribe, tell your mates about the channel, Spurs Talk. I might be soon creating another channel that won't be related to Spurs Talk, football talk. It'll be a comedy, just talking about topics, and it just goes on comedy. There will be alcohol involved, so it will be like a comedy sketch. It's in the pipeline. I've got people looking into that. If it takes off, it takes off. But I will keep this channel going for my own entertainment. I I know I don't make money off it, but it's a bit of fun for me doing it on this channel. But if I can make money on the other channel, then I'll have a dig crack at it, see where it takes me. But for me, it's fun on this channel talking about Tottenham Football Club, getting the comments off the old YouTube from the phone, reading comments out on my lives. It's just a bit of fun for me on this channel. And I just generally love talking about Tottenham Football Club. I'm going to wrap it up there, but what I just said about Daniel Levy and that, he can't sign X, Y, and Z. He hasn't got a war chest. Let that sink in. But anyway, as always, love and subscribe. Every time I go live, get it live in your old notification box. Simon's gone live. Jump on it. See you later, guys.